Okay, let's take a look at how to apply motion tweens inside of Flash. We're going to pull up something like this to where we have buttons inside of our stage here, the victim's bio, letter button, and just have them animate in from fading in into our project here. So that's what we're going to pull off here, something like that. So what we're going to do is we've got these three items here that are already our buttons, our main, message, and victim's bio, and we have separate layers for all three of those. Each three of those are on its separate layer. So I'm going to select all of those here for now, and I'm just going to remove frames to clear out, give us some blanking canvas to work with. So for the victim's bio, which is going to be our first one, I'm going to go ahead and click on that very first frame in my timeline. I'm going to select Insert Frame, and I'm going to drop that button directly into my frame. And what I'm going to look at here is down below is my timeline, so that's what my main focus is. If you're working with an earlier version of Flash, your timeline may be up here at the very top, which is fine, but you want to get to your timeline inside of Flash. I'm going to go to the, since this is victim's bio, I'm going to select the victim's bio button. I'm going to drag this onto my timeline here, place it right there, and I'm going to affix a tween. So what I want to do, this is working at 12 FPS right now. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 24, make it 24 frames per second here, and I'm going to select, I want it to be about half a second. So I'm going to move over to the 12th frame here, and I'm going to insert a keyframe. And then I'm going to drop to the middle of this frame, or the middle of this, between the two keyframes that I've set. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Create Classic Tween. Now this is Flash CS 5.5. If you have an earlier version, just has motion tween. So I'm going to create Classic Tween there, and when we do it correctly, we'll notice that we get a blue line that's unbroken here between your two keyframes. So I'm going to start with my very first keyframe, go to my Properties panel, and in this case I'm going to go ahead and select that item there, and this is my instance of victim's bio. I'm going to go down to my alpha, and I'm just going to drop that alpha to something like about a 0 there. Select 0, and then I'm going to drop to my very last keyframe, select the victim's bio button, and again I'm going to go to alpha, and in this case I'll select 100. Make sure that's set at 100 there. So what I'll have here is essentially just a fade onto the screen at that point. Now I would just select down, I would come down here, back to the middle, and I can apply, since this is just a linear motion here, which is not very realistic, it's a good idea to apply some easing to your animation. So if I pull this all the way up here to ease, basically an ease out, what's going to happen as I watch this, now it's only a half a second, but we'll notice we'll get a little difference in the way that approaches our keyframe. It's going to come in very it's going to leave kind of slowly and going to come in fast. If we clicked here and did it the other way, we kept this as a 0, we'd have an ease in, so it would approach very quickly and then kind of ease out slowly there at the end of that keyframe. So I'll just select here to letter. I would insert an additional frame, go back to my library, find the letter button, drag that to my timeline. I want to make sure that those are lined up there. I've got auto grid set, so that lines up perfectly, and I would want this to start actually on the 12th frame, so I'll drag that frame over, and then I would have that 24, so I would select the 24th frame, insert keyframe, and select here on the letter, go to my Properties panel, select the alpha, drag that down to 0, come over here, drag this up, make sure that my letter is selected, go to alpha, and drag that up to 100. So we'll have another animation there. Now we'll notice that this one approaches here, kind of fades in like that, like we want it, which is perfect. But I do want my the tween, so I select here in the middle and do create classic tween. So get that fade in like I want it. So you can go either way. You can place the tween last if you want to. Now this one goes away, the victims, so I want to insert another keyframe so that one actually sticks around. So it fades in, victims fades in, but it still sticks around there, so I would insert that other keyframe. And then I would have this, these are empty frames, so it only shows up at the 11th keyframe there. Then that other one starts to fade in. So I'd have those two start to fade in there very nicely together. And then down here I would add in my other button, and I would have all three of those in.